Hi, I'm Carrie, and welcome into my quick clips at Judge Tammy's courtroom. We cut out the boring so that we get straight to the point for you guys. And in today's clips, we're going to watch squatting, public indecency, deadbeat dads, and a couple of other things. One lady has excuses over excuses, and then we have a not so clever shoplifter. So let's get straight to our public indecency guy.
How you doing?
Mr. Bullock,
Yes, ma'am.
raise your right hand for me, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true?
Yes, ma'am. I'll be right back.
You can put your hand down, sir. You're before the court on State of Georgia versus Cedric Otis Bullock Jr., 2020 CR 06923. Sir, we're having hearings by video because of the COVID-19 emergency. Do you agree to have your hearing by video?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, you're before the court on one charge of public indecency, count 2 is criminal trespass, and count 3 is simple battery. Your attorney is Ms. Kate Statlander. Ms. Statlander has indicated that you wish to enter a plea of guilty to all 3 offenses. Factual basis, please.
Yes, Your Honor. On August 17, 2020, officers were dispatched to 540 Blue Cedar Court in Riverdale, Georgia, Clayton County regarding a disturbance. Upon arrival, they did speak with victim 1, Deontay Jones, and victim 2, Felicia Gatelin. Mr. Jones had advised that the defendant is homeless, and sometimes they do give the defendant work around the residence. On this particular day, he was outside of the residence. He did pull down his pants and started pleasuring himself while in the driveway. At that time, Mr. Jones asked him to leave. He did leave and then came back shortly. When he returned, he began to chase Ms. Gatelin around the residence, knocking her down. At that point, he was able to enter the residence. And at that time, Mr. Jones and Ms. Gatelin did barricade themselves in a bedroom. At that time, the officers did arrive on scene. They were able to take him into custody, and he was charged with public indecency, criminal trespass, and simple battery. The state recommendation in this case is 12 months to serve 120 days with the balance suspended with the condition that he commits no new violations of the law, that he does not return to the incident location, and he has no contact with Deontay Jones or Felicia Gatelin. Mr. Bullock has been with us several times before. He has a prior simple battery from June 22nd, 2015 here in Clayton State Court. He has another simple battery from April 25th, 2016 here in Clayton State Court, carrying a weapon without a license and carrying in possession of a weapon as a convicted felon from April 28, 2017 here in Clayton County Superior Court. Also a prior criminal trespass from December 31st, 2018. And that's the reason for the state's recommendation.
Ms. Statlander?
Your Honor, that is my understanding of the recommendation as well. Mr. Bullock would like to enter the plea to that and accept that recommendation.
All right. Mr. Bullock, you've heard the recommendation, sir. I'm going to accept your plea of guilty to counts 1, 2, and 3. Sent you to 12 months to serve 120 days. The balance will be suspended upon completion of the sentence, and as long as you don't have any contact with Deontay Jones. And who was the second person? I'm sorry. Clarice. I'm sorry.
Felicia.
Ms. Hunter.
Say it again, Your Honor, I'm sorry.
Who was the second person he's not to have any contact with?
So we have Deontay Jones and Felicia Gatelin, Gatlin.
Okay. All right. So you're not to have any contact with either of those individuals, sir. Mr. Bullock, I'm not sure what's going on. So let's talk for a minute. Have you previously served in the military?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Have you sought help through any organizations to get some housing stability?
I stay at the house. I stay with my mom.
You stay with your mother? How old are you, sir?
28.
Okay. So Mr. Bullock, you and I keep meeting. And so that is my concern, is that you can't stay out of jail and you can't stay out of trouble. And I have a concern, because it seems to be getting more and more. I mean, your sentences are getting longer and longer, and that's going to continue. And what I don't want is for you to graduate to felonies. We clear?
Yes, ma'am.
So, sir, let me explain. The two people that we talked about, Mr. Jones and Clarissa. I didn't write it down, of course. But those two people that you're not to have any contact with, let me explain what happens if you have contact with them. So this order means the balance is suspended, but for the entire 12 months, you're not to have any contact with those people after you get out of jail. However, if you do have contact with them, you're subject to being arrested for violation of a court order, which is a misdemeanor, which is punishable by up to 12 months in jail, $1,000 fine, or both, or a felony, which is the felony of aggravated stalking, which is punishable by up to 10 years in prison, a $10,000 fine, or both. So what I want you to be clear on is you're going to spend this time in jail, and once you get out of jail, you'll still be under the condition that you cannot have contact with those individuals. Are we clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Anything else for this client, Ms. Statlander?
On behalf of the defense, Your Honor.
All right. You can go back with the sheriff's office, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Have a nice day.
You're welcome.
Now, our next lady is what I would like to call a difficult tenant, and she likes to squat.
All right, Ms. Salenza.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning. Raise your right hand for me. Do you solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true? Can you hear me, ma'am?
Yes,
Okay. All right. And you swear or affirm?
yes, ma'am.
Okay, you can put your hand down. Now, we're having hearings by video because of COVID-19. Do you still wish to have your hearing by video?
Yes,
You're before the court on 2020 CR 07476, State of Georgia versus Christine Salenza, for 2 counts of giving a false name, address, or date of birth. You're represented by Attorney Cook, who is here on the call with us. And Ms. Cook, what is your client pleading to the offenses?
She's entering a plea of guilty to count 1 and count 2.
Okay. All right. So, Ms. Salenza, you could enter a plea of not guilty if you chose, and you could have a trial by jury or judge. Maximum penalty if you were convicted could be up to 12 months in jail, $1,000 fine, or both. But it's per offense. But it's my understanding that Ms. Cook has spoken with the state. You have an understanding of what they're going to ask me to do in your case. Factual basis, please.
On October 12, 2020, officers responded to 7664 Lyle Drive, Riverdale, Georgia, in Clayton County regarding an incident. They made contact with the complainant, Ronald Smith, who stated that he had been renting a room out to Ms. Salenza for the last few weeks and he wanted her out of the property. The officer did observe that the Ms. Salenza had established residency and did inform the complainant that he could not just kick her out. He had to go through the eviction process. And he also advised Ms. Salenza of the same. During the investigation, he did attempt to identify Ms. Salenza, and she gave her name of Tanaka Lapre with the date of birth of June 25th, 1973. He did run that name and date of birth. Nothing came back on file. He attempted to run it manually and it still did not come back. She eventually did admit that she gave the wrong name, and her name was actually Christine Salenza. She was taken into custody at that time and charged with giving a false name and date of birth. The state's recommendation in this case for count 1 and count 2 is 12 months to serve 30 days, credit since the date of lockup, with the balance suspended with the condition that she commits no new violations of the law. The reason for the 30 days, Your Honor, she has two
She's
prior.
been here before.
Yeah, she was here on the simple battery family violence in 2017. She violated that by catching a charge of giving a false name, date of birth on this was August 15, 2018. And then after that, she received another giving a false name on October 24th, 2018. So this is her third charge of the same.
Miss Salenza, you keep giving a false name, address, or date of birth, and you keep getting jail time for it and coming back here, and that's the only charge you have. So let's walk through this carefully. So maybe if you didn't give a false name, address, or date of birth, there'd be nothing to arrest you for. Ms. Cook, anything on behalf of Ms. Salenza?
Your Honor, we're just asking the court to go along with the recommendation. It is my understanding that she may have another matter to handle in another county. So we're asking the court to give her credit since the date of lockup as well.
Okay, Ms. Salenza, I'm gonna tell you right now, ma'am, we got too much technology where people can open their phones with their faces. People gonna know who you are, either right then or later. I mean, so you're not being slick, ma'am. You're not getting away with anything. You're just picking up useless charges. Okay? So the next time you get that desire to give the wrong information to somebody, remember what it feels like to be in one of those green jumpsuits, okay? Because we're gonna know who you are. I recognized you by your name. I was like, oh, she been here before. So let's not do this again, Miss Salenza, okay? All right, because it's not working for you. If it had worked maybe once or twice, I don't know, maybe. But it's not working for you, ma'am. Okay, so I'm gonna accept your plea of guilty to counts 1 and 2. I'll sentence you to 12 months to serve 30 days, credit since the date of lockup. Balance will be suspended as long as you have no new violations of the laws of the state of Georgia. Count 2 will run concurrent with count 1. And once you have, I guess, completed everything for us, then there may be a hold on you from another jail. So you'll go there, okay?
Yes.
All your stuff straight, Miss Salenza, and try and stay out of jail, all right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
Ooh, honey.
Rajan, firm and
She's a hot
any
mess.
test.
So this next case is all about a deadbeat dad. And it has to be so frustrating to see these guys come through court.
I can't hear you, sir. Can you speak up for me? No, you don't have to remove the mask. I should be able to hear you through the mask. Say yes for me.
Yes,
Okay, see, I can hear you. Do you swear or affirm?
yes.
All right, you can put your hand down. It just may have been an audio thing. So, sir, you're before the court on 2020-CR07257, State of Georgia versus Rajan Ronell Childs for driving on a suspended or revoked license and no tag or expired or invalid tag. We're having hearings by video for COVID-19. Do you agree to have your hearing by video?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. You're represented by Ms. Cook. Ms. Cook, what does your client plead to these offenses?
You would like to enter a NOLO plea, Your Honor, to count 1 and 2.
All right. Now, sir, you could enter a plea of not guilty and have a trial by jury or judge. Maximum penalty if you were convicted could be up to 12 months in jail, $1,000 fine, or both. But it's my understanding that you have spoken with Ms. Cook, and she's spoken with the state, and you understand what they're going to ask me to do as a sentence in your case. By entering a plea of no contest or NOLO to counts 1 and 2, you give up the right to have a trial by jury or judge. You give up the right to have the state prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You give up the right to have the presumption of innocence in your favor. You give up the right to confront witnesses, subpoena witnesses, present testimony and evidence on your behalf, to not incriminate yourself or present any testimony or evidence against yourself. And if you are not a United States citizen, a plea of guilty or no contest could negatively impact your immigration status. Do you understand all of these things?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, factual basis, please.
On September 8th, 2020, Deputy Foley assisted Sergeant Kearney with a safety checkpoint at King Road and Wesley College Park, Georgia, in Clayton County. Approximately 3 o'clock, a gray Chrysler Pacifica entered the checkpoint. The officer did run the registration through Clayton County Communications. It showed the vehicle's registration was expired. He then asked Mr. Childs for his license. He did comply and hand over his Georgia license. The officer did check the license through Clayton County Communications and was advised that the license was suspended due to child support obligations. He was placed into custody at that time. The state's recommendation in this case for count 1 and count 2 is 12 months to serve 10 days credit since the date of lockup, with the balance suspended with the condition that he commits no new violations of the law.
All right, Ms. Cook.
Your Honor, we're asking the court to go along with the recommendation in this case.
All right, Mr. Childs, are you working? Sir,
Yes, Your Honor.
you're working? So can you, how many children do you have, sir?
6.
Woo! How many you still got to pay for? All of them?
No, ma'am. Only 2.
Okay, so can you set up something with your job where you can pay either into child support enforcement automatically, or you can set up something with child support enforcement so that you can get this done?
I was informed by Ms. Cook that I never talked to him, so I'm making plans to go and talk to him. So,
Talk to who?
the child support.
Yes, get that set up, sir, because 2 things. One, your kids deserve support, and these times are tough. I mean, if you working and you're not helping to support your kids, then you don't know what is going to happen with them or what they're going through. Number 1. And number 2, this could keep you from working. It's definitely keeping you from driving.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so get that done. You know, this year more than any year is all about people being responsible and taking care of the things that need to be taken care of, because we got enough going on to where you don't need to have crazy stuff just hanging out there waiting for you. 2020 is enough by itself. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so get that done, and model for your kids the kind of father that they need. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. I'm gonna send you on counts 1 and 2 to 12 months to serve 10 days credit since the date of lockup. Balance would be suspended as long as you have no new violations of the laws of Georgia. And count 2 will run concurrent with count 1. Okay, you can go back with the sheriff's office.
Ma'am, can I ask you something real quick?
Sure, you may. Go ahead.
I've been here 40 days. Is there any kind of way I can get like released extra fast?
Well, since you've been here 40 days, you're due to be released today, as long as no other jurisdiction has a hold on you. Now, what I don't control is the sheriff. He's a constitutional officer, and how he runs his jail is his business. I try and make sure that I'm just in compliance with what he has. So it is my understanding that you will be released today. I can't give you a time. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Ms. Cook.
You're welcome.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. We'll just take a brief break while Ms. Statlander is in the breakout room.
Judge Hayward,
Yes.
what is the reset date on Mr. Powell?
Mr. Powell, are we resetting him for next week, or are we resetting him beyond that? Do we know?
We say next week,
Next week. Okay.
next
Okay.
Tuesday.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
next week for both then.
Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Ashley. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm sorry to hear about your loss.
That's okay. You know, the wonderful thing is he lived a great life. At 91, You
Wow.
can't hope for anything but that somebody lived the best life they possibly could, and Dad did that. So we're happy
That
about
is so
that.
true. Well, I'm
We're gonna
glad to
miss
hear.
him, but
I know.
thank you all for y'all's expressions, and I appreciate you. Yeah, but a good life lived is its own reward.
Are you going to have to travel out of town for any arrangements?
So we're here. Everybody's
Okay.
here.
Well, that's good. Well, y'all just stay safe.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Alexa, turn on V103.
Miss Val, we would love to share V103 with you.
Thank you. Trying to get something going in here and listen to you.
Next up, we have traffic violations, failure to report. This woman, I tell you what, she's in a bad relationship. She has excuses after excuses, and she just keeps going in circles.
She's gonna talk to the judge and come back.
Okay. Mr. Fowler?
That's
That's
Mr.
not Mr. Fowler. All right, Miss Johnson, we'll go ahead. Call it audible. Second. Miss Johnson, raise your right hand for me. Do you solemnly swear or affirm any testimony that you give in this matter will be true?
Yes, I do.
Okay. All right, you can put your hand down. Now, we're having hearings by video because of COVID-19. Ma'am, do you still wish to have your hearing by video?
Yes,
Represented by Attorney Kate Statlander, and you had the opportunity to speak with Ms. Statlander. The petition is brought forward by the probation office, and it as follows: State of Georgia versus Michelle Angel Johnson, case 2016 CR 08668. You were before this court for driving on a suspended or revoked license and giving a false name, address, or date of birth on the 15th day of February 2017. You were sentenced to 24 months on probation, and you have 10 months and 14 days remaining. Your sentence was tolled, which means we had to stop the running of your sentence because we lost track of you. This is your third hearing. So it says that you failed to report to probation on August 20th, August 29th, September 17th, and October 9th of 2018 for the revocation hearing that was scheduled on that day. You last reported on July 24th of 2018. You failed to complete community service. You were given 290 hours of community service, and I believe that was in lieu of fines. And the defendant, you failed to pay, and you're $650 in arrears for supervision fees. So Ms. Johnson, I'm going to hear from your attorney about where you went for the last several years. Ms. Statlander?
Thank you, Judge. Ms. Johnson does admit to the violations. However, Ms. Johnson maintains that the violations were due to a very unhealthy and very toxic relationship that she was a part of. Ms. Johnson does suffer. She informed me that she suffers from hypothyroidism and heart disease, as well as COPD, and is unable to get the medications in the jail that she needs. Her daughter does live with her. Her daughter's 20 years old, and her daughter is the one that brings her to all her appointments and meets with all her doctors as well. And so for those reasons, we would be asking for, she has been in custody for about 8 days now, I believe. She was brought in on the 13th, so maybe, I'm sorry, about 7 days. She's brought in on the 13th. So at this point, Your Honor, we would be asking that you revoke the time that she has already served and close the case.
All right. From probation, Mr. Austin?
Yes, ma'am. My recommendation was 30 days to serve and credit from the time she's been locked up.
And how long she been? I'm sorry.
She was brought in on the 13th, Your Honor, I believe.
On the what?
October 13th, I believe.
That's not
that's
30
correct.
days. All right. Ms. Johnson, do you have prescriptions for those medicines? I can't hear you, ma'am.
I was getting my Medicaid renewed,
and missed the appointment being in here so that I could go to the hospital. I have to get heart surgery. It's either a stent, arthroplasty, or a pacemaker, but that is also the thyroid is causing the heart problems and the COPD.
I got it. What I'm asking is, do you have prescriptions that you are already, medicines that you already prescribed by your treating physician?
Yes, I gave them to the doctor that came to see me yesterday.
Okay.
Yes, he's got the doctor's names as well as the list. One of
Okay.
And yeah, and so the thing of it is I have to finish, but with the Medicaid situation and not being able to work with no license, I drive, it's costly. But the man knows that, and unfortunately, it's being used as a weapon to keep me in place. And my daughter and them are willing to let you know that. We spoke previously if you're the same judge, and I was trying to break free, but every piece of paperwork and all my furniture, he threw it away. I don't have anything but the 2 loads of clothes I happen to wash. All my paperwork is gone.
Okay, so let me ask you this. So are you still living with this person?
I'm trying to get away, but he's tapping me there with no license and no car.
Okay, so ma'am, you can get those things back from the Department of Vital Services. Do you have a place to go if you leave?
Yes. Yes, I do.
Well, then go.
Sweetie, I can't drive nowhere. My daughter.
Okay.
I got
Is your daughter staying with him?
We're going together.
I'm sorry?
Now that this has happened, when he did call the police the other day on me, we are both moving together away from him. He called the police because he.
Okay, so she's willing to move away also.
Yes. And my son.
Okay, how old's your son?
26.
And y'all all live in the same house?
Yes, the agreement was that we were going to maintain the other residents, but he sold and told them we were moving. All I know is I got 800 in utilities that he left and turned off. All my furniture he sold my cars and didn't give me the money. I had no choice but to come. None of us did.
Where is he?
I'm sure he's there somewhere.
At the house where your stuff is?
He wanted me there with him. He just got back from the Honduras last Sunday. He comes and goes, but he does not help because he wants to keep me pinned.
Okay, and so when he goes, y'all can't leave?
You're not hearing me. It's everything shut down. I need money to move. I got to drive. I need my license to get a job. He knows I need a job. And I have a place. I can stay with my sister, but I don't.
Because this, if I remember correctly, this was the same situation you were in 2017. We talked about this.
Except then I had a place. He told the landlord we were moving. I have 800. He sabotaged. He went behind my back and lied. All I know is I went to move my stuff and it was all thrown away. Everything. Sold my cars. He got worse, baby. He got worse, Your Honor.
Okay, but we talked about a plan in 2017.
I was executing that until he went postal and took everything and sold it. I have nothing from that home. All my life of 27.
Okay, so have you considered a shelter?
I don't need a shelter. I'm gonna go to my sister's. I'm just saying he called police when he's been gone to Honduras. When he got
okay. This is what I'm asking you, ma'am. We've been in this and I'm trying to be sympathetic because I remember your story.
Yeah.
Back in 2017, when you first came before me, this was the same thing, that he was keeping you from progressing, leaving.
It was, he wouldn't take me to the community service or to the DDS to get
I got you. But what I'm saying is, if you have a sister who's willing to take you in, why won't you? I know you need stuff, but trust me, people have left with less. They have left with just the clothes on their back.
Okay, but what I was saying, after we last had this, the last time it happened, a year ago, everything, paperwork and all, the home, he had told that landlord behind my back, and all of my possessions, paperwork and all, I had those before when we talked. I don't have them anymore. I wasn't supposed to move. I had a place. We were in that place. But he lied to the people and said we were moving. When I called, they had sold the home. There was nothing I could do. He made it worse by taking the home that I had away from us. lying to the landlord. Then closed the utilities and put them in his name and left me with 800, knowing I don't have the money to get the electric on because he left it. He's gotten worse, sweetie, is what I'm saying, with his sabotage. That's fine. I just want to move away, but I need a car and I need a job. I would stay with my sister, but I still need my license to drive.
I got you.
Yeah.
So,
He's
hold on. I have another question.
Yes,
Did you
ma'am.
get your license restored from the suspension?
He won't. No.
He won't do what?
Take me to the DDS. Now they're full.
Okay, or you could call Uber, or your son could take you. Your son doesn't drive?
It's not working, sweetie. Everybody, things and situations have changed. They got car notes and all that. But now that he's not working, he hasn't worked in 2 months almost. He's not working. He's behind. My daughter, she's she's 20.
Well, this is what I'm gonna do. Now that I know that your medicines are with the jail, I'm gonna accept your admissions to the petition. I'll send you the 30 days. Once the 30 days is complete, and I'll give you credit since the date of lockup, so that will be included in the 30 days. So once the 30 days is complete, then this case will be closed. And then this will not be hanging over your head, and you'll be free to move on from that point, okay?
Your Honor, could we just make one small amendment? Can we do 15 days?
Could you make what?
15.
What about 15?
I was saying, could we do 15? Could you reduce it to 15 days?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
All right. So you can go back with the sheriffs, okay?
Yes.
All right.
Finally, we're going to end up our stream with a shoplifter who's not too clever of a little guy. So let's get to it.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Fowler, raise your right hand for me. Do you solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Fowler, you're before the court on case 2018 CR 05571, State of Georgia versus Wesley. Joel Fowler, theft by shoplifting is the charge. Sir, we're having hearings by video because of COVID-19. Do you still wish to have your hearing by video?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, you're before the court on theft by shoplifting. You can enter a plea of not guilty and have a trial by jury or judge. The maximum penalty, if you were convicted, could be up to 12 months in jail, $1,000 fine, or both per offense. But it's my understanding that you've spoken with Ms. Statlander, and she's spoken with the state, and you understand what they're going to ask me to do as a sentence in your case. By entering a plea of guilty, you give up the right to have a trial by jury or judge. You give up the right to have the state prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You give up the right to have the presumption of innocence in your favor. You give up the right to confront witnesses, subpoena witnesses, present testimony and evidence on your behalf, to not incriminate yourself or present any testimony or evidence against yourself. And Mr. Fowler, if you're not a United States citizen, a plea of guilty or no contest could negatively impact your immigration status. Do you understand all of these things, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, factual basis, please.
On July 4th, 2018, Brittany Wilkerson from Asset Protection for the Walmart located at 2940 Anvil Block Road in Ellenwood, Clayton County, Georgia, noticed a male subject later identified as Wesley Fowler in the men's department, where he was moving around quickly, picking up merchandise and placing it back down. Due to the suspicious behavior, she began surveillance. She did observe him select 2 men's hats and 2 t-shirts. He then selected a pair of George shorts. He then proceeded to the underwear aisle, where he selected multiple pairs of underwear and began removing tags from the hats and underwear. At this time, he began concealing the underwear into the pockets of the shorts. At that time, he proceeded over to the jeans section, where he selected another pair of shorts and concealed the hats inside of the second pair of men's shorts. He also selected 2 pair of pants and concealed the shirts, and previously selected pair of socks into the pairs of jeans. He then attempted to enter the fitting room with all the merchandise and concealed merchandise, but was deterred by an employee who removed all the concealed merchandise from the clothing items. At that time, he went back to menswear, where he reselected the pair of George shorts, another man's hat and maroon shirt before proceeding to the celebrations department, where he concealed the clothing items in the front of his pants. He then placed a newly selected unpaid hat on his head, removing his old hat. At that point, he did proceed to the front of the store, where he met up with the female and exited the store, passing all points to sale. He was apprehended at that point, Your Honor. The total amount of the merchandise was $23.77 at that point. The state's recommendation in this case is 12 months to serve 60 days with the balance suspended, with the condition that he does not return to the incident location and he commits no new violations of the law. Mr. Fowler has a prior theft by taking from August 2015, where he used his first offender in Coweta Superior Court. He also has a entering an auto with intent to commit a theft or felony from August of 2015. They were two separate cases, but they joined them together for first offender treatment. Given a false name, October 2015 from Troup County State Court. Another theft by taking from October 18, 2016. Theft by receiving stolen property, November 29, 2018. And he just recently was sentenced on a robbery count from September 2019 in Coweta Superior Court, where he is currently under 8 years probation sentence.
Ms. Statlander?
Your Honor, that is our understanding of the recommendation. We just ask that you accept the state's recommendation in this case.
How old are you, Mr. Fowler?
28, ma'am.
Mr. Fowler, how much time do you plan to spend in an orange jumpsuit?
No more, ma'am.
Mr. Fowler, come on now.
I just got done doing a drug treatment center facility, RSAT, and I just did 2 years, so yeah, it's doesn't change me around, man.
Okay, so Mr. Fowler, you're young. You're 28 years old. Life goes by really quickly, and I promise you, you're 28 today, you'll be 40 tomorrow, and it will feel like it went just like that. So what I'm asking you to do is to start thinking about where you want to be in your life and what you're doing in your life, because before you know it, you will have no prospects and you will be trying to figure out where it all went, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
You still have time to turn some stuff around.
Yes, ma'am.
Are we clear?
Yes, ma'am. Is there any way I could get probation to reduce my sentence any?
Oh, no. No, sir.
Okay, do I get time credited for when I first got locked up on this charge, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
So,
All right. So I will accept your plea of guilty. I'll sentence you to 12 months to serve 60 days. Balance credit since the date of lockup. The balance will be suspended as long as you do not go back to any Walmart in Clayton County and that you have no new violations of the laws of the state of Georgia. Correct. Anything else?
and I'll be I'll get the time credit for when I first time I got arrested for this. Not this time also?
No, from your date of arrest this time. You were arrested before?
Yes, ma'am. I just got out doing 2 years. I just did 2 years. I had a hold here and they transferred me here from prison.
Oh, no, you'll get credit from the date you arrived here to just this time.
Okay.
So you got picked up before and then Coweta had a bigger hold on you and you went there first, correct?
No, ma'am. I got arrested for this charge and I got bonded out.
Okay,
Your Honor,
no,
he's been in bench warrant status since September 17, 2018.
yeah, no, you'll get credit since the date we found you after you bench warranted. You don't get credit for bench warrant time.
No, ma'am. I know. I was saying that but when I got arrested, the time I got arrested, I did 5 days before I bonded out.
Yeah, no, you don't get credit for that. If you'd stayed, you would have. If you stayed and let us finish this out, you would have. But now, from the date of the most recent arrest, I'll give you credit.
Okay, and I don't get any time served from the 2 years I just done prior?
That's not my 2 years, sir. I don't even know who that's for.
Coweta?
Okay, well, that's Coweta's 2 years. That's not mine.
Okay, so I just got credit for 6 days?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
I'm just saying, you know, when you're doing a lot, every judge is not going to give you credit for what you giving for some other judge. That's not how it works. You're in a whole different jurisdiction. The plan is you just stop doing all this stuff.
Yes, ma'am, that's what I plan on doing.
Okay. Well, I hope not to see you in this capacity again, Mr. Fowler.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. You can go back with the sheriff's office, sir.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, thank you for joining me today, everybody. I really appreciate it. There'll be more to come. So if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe so you will be notified the next time I upload a new video. Y'all have a blessed afternoon and I will see you soon.